I'm gonna make a video. I look like Cynthia Doll. Oh, here they come. Just for the sake of posting consistently online, I am going to start making videos whenever, however, looking however I look, no matter what's going on. Right now, some people are fixing the roofing outside, or not the roofing, the siding of the building, so they're like banging on the... They've been doing this all day. I quit my job this morning. Long story short, I found out I'm pregnant and I can't be doing laborious activities, so I know, right? Congratulations. Not what my boss said. I mean, I did only work for a day, right? But being the people pleaser I am, I wanted to give the job a chance. You know, training was extensive. It took probably a month to get into the job. So I just felt a little obligated to go. But after day one, you know, I slipped on the wet floors, which for some reason the entire kitchen was wet. So yeah, and there were leaks in the area that I was working in. Oh, I'm a dishwasher, by the way. Yep, a lowly dishwasher, right? With a degree. And I should have not taken this job because I saw the red flags on day one, and then the red flags continued as I went further into this rabbit hole with Alice. We went together. We barely made it out. I have an ultrasound in 2 weeks, so I'm trying not to kill the fetus. Very small, tiny. I don't even know if you can call it a fetus yet. The ultrasound didn't seem to see anything but a yolk sac because I went a couple days ago. I went to go check the viability of the pregnancy, right? There was yolk within a gestational sac, which means I was 5 weeks and 6 days pregnant according to how they had measured. I will insert a photo here of that so you can see that the baby's not there, but it is, because yeah, you can't see it, but it's there because I tested positive for my test. Okay, so I went to day one of my job, and let me tell you, the person that trained me was the best, worst trainer I've ever had. They were really great at giving directions. Luckily, I already knew what I was doing because I had been a dishwasher for 3 months prior. Well, you know, in 2021, I decided to take up dishwashing because I left teaching. So anyway, before I go off on a tangent, the trainer was interesting. I mean, they were quick-paced, you know. They were always there for me. They're like, hey, if you need a break, go take a break. You need to go water. You need to go bathroom. I can't use sentences. They were like on top of it, you know, and they were swinging in like a superhero to help me whenever I was like overwhelmed and stuff. But like towards, at what point? Oh, okay. When it was time to do the dishes, you know, the part that matters a lot. This is what the customers are eating off of. The elderly customers, the residents, they're eating off of these plates. And, you know, for me, I'm excellent. I'm all about excellence when it comes to cleaning. I'm a little bit of a perfectionist. Not too bad, but just a little bit. Because I care about safety. I care about not food poisoning people, especially the elderly who are possibly compromised in the immune system area. I don't want to poison them. But this guy, he did not really seem to care about safety. So when he would spray the dishes, he would not spray them enough, you know, which is, it's the job to spray the dishes because you're supposed to get the gunk off of them, which means you also might have to scrub. So we have this hose. Ow! Ow! Okay. Okay. I'm in pain from living. Okay. Anyway, the hose is a pressure hose and it sprays down onto dishes. I like to put several dishes on the rack because they're really dirty and spray them and then do several more. That being said, I'm a slow worker, yet at my other job I was considered the best dishwasher to a lot of people. Okay, one person, but everyone agreed. So I know I'm doing my job correctly, and I don't like going over my work. It doesn't make any sense to spray everything shittily, right? Put it through the sanitizing machine and expect the sanitizing machine to do the job of the dishwasher and the power hose. Okay? The sanitizer it has heat, it has that going for it, and it can spray the dishes, but that machine doesn't take large chunks of food off unless those large chunks of food are loosened. Like, you have to loosen the grip of the food. Like, if something's caked on, such as cake, you have to kind of rinse it all off, or rinse it a little bit and scrub it off and then put it through the machine. I personally like to rinse and scrub depending on what the specific dishes need, and then once I've gotten the majority of the food off, I'm talking 95 to 99% of the food, then I will send it through the machine. Which is why my trainer at the end of the day was like, wow, you barely got any food in the machine. Rocket science, like, wow, usually people don't do that, like, there's so much food. And I'm like, I wonder why, because literally you told them to barely spray the dishes and just send them through the sanitizing machine. And then what happens when they come out the other end? There is still food on them. So he was watching me like a hawk, which I noticed he started to get a little micromanagey when he saw I wasn't going fast enough, but I wasn't gonna go faster and mess up the cleanliness. Like, I wasn't gonna like run dirty dishes through a sanitizing machine. You can't sanitize food. You have to get rid of the food, and then the dishes are what needs sanitized. I hope that makes sense. This is cute, huh? I'm the type of person, it takes me a while to process things, and I'm also a people pleaser. This isn't gonna be fixed, so please use it as fuel to comment, if you must. It takes me a while to process, usually, when something is a red flag. I'll notice a red flag, but a lot of times I'll ignore it. Like with my manager, I noticed that he was a walking red flag, which I did talk about on TikTok, which I will insert here. Okay, I need some advice. I'm not sure if this job I applied for is a huge red flag or if it's worth giving a shot. I'm gonna list off all the things I took as red flags, and I wanna know your opinion if you think I should just run for the hills or if I should like stay and see if it's like gonna work out. The first red flag is that the company got back to me suspiciously fast. I submitted my application that day, like probably around 5 or 6 p.m. and they got back to me the next day, letting me know that I could now like set up an interview with them, like schedule one. So I scheduled one for today. So I show up, and another red flag is that the receptionist lady was kind of rude. Like, she was very cold. She was like just kind of barking orders at me. Like, I was like, hi, I'm here for the group interview, and she was just like, you need to sign in. And I was like, oh, okay, that's fine. And then she was just like, did you park in the parking garage? And I was just like, yeah. And she was like, you need to park in the front. And I was just like, how the hell was I supposed to know? I literally like I had never been here before. So she didn't pass the vibe check, and then she just handed me some paperwork, told me to go sit over somewhere. She was treating me like I was like a second-class citizen or something. It was really weird. But anyway, I went and sat down. I filled out the application, which was so easy. It was like, is this even a real application? It was like one piece of paper, and you just, I mean, it was minimalist, which is cool, but it was like, this just looks like you have such a fast turnover, like how this is laid out. It's like, give me the hours, like just put your name on here, your address, sign it, and we're good. You know, it was just like too fast. So obviously I finished filling out the paper extremely quick because it was barely anything to fill out. So I stand up to go give her the paper, and she acted like, oh, you need to stay over there. Like, I already told you, but like she literally didn't tell me. So I'm like, I hope her attitude cleans up, because like the way they have it set up, you kind of have to sign up right there where she is. Like when you come in, like that's where you clock in. I was like, to say hi to her every morning, I would die. So then the hiring person comes out, and they're like, hey, you're the only person here for the group interview. So she just takes me into her office, and we just like talk, and she's like, oh, this is an informal type interview, blah, blah, blah. Which I don't mind, because, yeah, anything you can do to make me feel less uncomfortable, right? So she quickly realizes that I'm overqualified, and she's like, oh, I like the way you talk. I like the way you present yourself. And so she sends me over to the person in charge of the department that I was going to work for, so that I can interview with him. So I go and sit back down, and I'm just like waiting where I was waiting, where I filled out the form. And then someone comes around the corner, and they're like loud talking, and they're like talking to someone else. Okay, so here's another red flag. The guy that walks around the corner, he kind of like has all this energy, and he like walks up to someone who just entered the building, and I guess it's a former employee, and he's just like, whoa, you've gained so much weight, like to the former employee. He's like, you look like you gained like 15 pounds. You're fat now or something. And then he was like, oh, it's because you stopped working, huh? And I was just like, please don't let that be him who's gonna interview me right now. It was him. Yep, you guessed it. So, what a great introduction I had of him. And yes, he does make a comment about my body later in the interview. Little precursor right there. So he takes me back into like this little banquet area, because I'm trying to work like in a kitchen environment, restaurant style environment. When we first start the interview, he kind of comes at me defensive for no fucking reason. And he's just like, so why are you here? I hate when people act like that. And like when they're in a place of authority, like they want you to like prove yourself to them, and they want to make you uncomfortable so that you'll like so that they can like judge like how they're gonna treat you. And I was just like, I'm here for the dishwasher position. My overqualified ass. So he starts trying to gauge like if he can verbally abuse me or not, and I'm just kind of like, I was a former teacher, I'm having a career change, and I need like a transitional job that's stable. I'm also trying to move. This guy was also like having me explain way too much information about my life. This is a huge red flag. And he's like, you're in school? Like, these people do not review your resume before you walk in. They don't even glance at it. They just want to hear you talk and see if you vibe with them. So he's interviewing me, and he's literally talking so much. Like, we were in there for so long. Like, I was starting to get convinced that he was just like trying to buy time from other responsibilities, because like he just kept asking me over and over again, do you have anything else you want to know about the position, blah blah blah. He asked me that probably 3 or maybe 4 times, and I was running out of questions. And it's like, that's a hard question to answer sometimes, but I just like kept asking questions, because I'm like, he keeps prompting me to keep asking about this job, so I'm just gonna keep asking. And I'm just thinking, like, does this mean I'm getting this job? Because like you're spending a lot of time explaining to me like the inner workings of the job. Something I did like about the job though was that he had said that the health benefits were really good, and that the PTO was really good. So I was like, and I was thinking, if I can work full-time, I can get the benefits, and you know, I kind of would like some stability in my life, and you know, a paycheck. He asked me about my husband, if he works. He asked me about if I have kids. I'm pretty sure the person interviewing you is not supposed to ask you if you have kids or if you're married, or really any personal questions. But my interviewer, he not only was digging way too much into my personal life, but he was also like commenting stuff that was inappropriate. Like, I know the difference between, like, sexual harassment and not. What he was doing was not sexual harassment. It was just invasive. I can tell that he's the type of person that just kind of overshares. But what he didn't really seem to understand is that some people are more private and, like, you can make them feel uncomfortable if you, like, mention things about them publicly that they were not planning on sharing. He just kind of was weirdly pushy. Like, he really, for some reason, like, wanted me to tell him that my background check was not going to go through. And I was just like, yeah, it can go through. And he was like, it can. And I was like, yeah. And then he was like, so what do you have to do to make it go through? And I was like, just fill it out. Looking back now, that was like pretty cringy. Then he told me a story about someone else who he judged as someone who should have been able to pass their background check because she was like very small and meek and like shy or whatever. So he just told me that he judges people based on how they look. Then he totally told me all her business. He's like, yeah, she was like she was a thief, she had a criminal background, like she went to jail. And I was just sitting there like, yeah, but like I'm not her. Yeah, but for some reason he really wanted me to admit that my background check wouldn't go through, even though he didn't know me. In my opinion, the best way to find out if someone's background check will go through is to check their background. And that will give you your answer. He should have learned that from a past experience that he shared with me. Then he was like talking about all his employees, and I can tell he's like kind of a shit talker. Like, I'm gonna learn more about these people than I ever need or want to know if I get the job. Which should tell me that, like, I literally should not have told him anything, but obviously he's just good at pulling that information out of people, and I'm not good at keeping secrets, apparently. But, yeah, I'm fucked. Like, don't commit a crime with me. I will totally give us all away. But this is the part where I'm kind of easing into where he started talking about my body. Like, he didn't go in depth, and it wasn't sexual harassment or anything, but it could have been taken that way by someone watching, but it wasn't. And I've been through that. So I know what it is. But what he said was that people around here, like, have lost weight, which is another thing. Like, he's looking at everybody's bodies too much. Like, maybe he is weird. Like, 'cause he literally just told me that he's, like, looking at everybody's bodies. Like, people have lost weight, or maybe he has, like, a weird obsession with weight loss because he, like, talked about that earlier. I have a dry scalp, so I'm kind of, like, covering it, so you don't have to talk about it. So what I failed to mention in my TikTok is that the guy interviewing me, which was my manager, he said, a lot of people around here, they lose weight when they start working here. And I was like, okay, cool. And he was like, but you don't need to lose weight. You're already skinny. And I was just like, is there something in my teeth? Cute. Real cute. So yeah, was he trying to like sell me on the health benefits of working as a dishwasher? I don't know what he was trying to do, but he just seemed to have a weird obsession with people's bodies. And he was definitely like, what's it called? When you like don't respect people who are overweight or obese. Yeah, like he seemed to have a bias or some type of prejudice or discriminate against people who are overweight, which is perfect because I would eventually go through a transformation with my body when I found out I was pregnant, and boy would I just love him talking about my body every time he saw me. I would just it just makes me feel so valued and respected when people talk about my body just out of their own interest. There goes the dandruff. Yeah, especially when they're my manager. It's so appropriate at work to talk about your employees' bodies, right? Okay, so moving on. But I ignored that because I was thinking pros and cons, like I need to make money, maybe I can stay here longer, maybe I won't quit, blah blah blah. But then I found out I was pregnant, So then the red flag should have been, hey, you've done this type of work before. Let's just assume that this work is going to be like the work you've done in the past. And when I tell you it was almost verbatim, from Arizona to Maryland, dishwashing jobs are all the same. Just so you know, okay? So if you think it's going to be different, it might vary here and there. I mean, just so that I can consistently post online, I'll probably go ahead and make a video about the difference between my new dishwashing job that I just quit from and my old dishwashing job that I also quit from. Holy macaroni. Oh, here they come. Do you see it or nah? I mean, this is a ladder. There's a ladder just dancing outside of my room during the making of this video. So my wall is about to get banged. Okay, I'm sorry, that was really in poor taste, but yeah, I'm gonna just talk through it. And these people, they be singing, they be whistling, and they be banging. All right, now back to the video. I'm gonna make a video. I don't know why I'm trying to help this hair. It's not gonna get helped. I already established that. Okay, I'm gonna make a video. I look like Cynthia Doll. Oh, here they come. I'm gonna make a video about the difference between my old dishwashing job and my new dishwashing job that I just quit from. Just for the sake of posting consistently and just having something to talk about. Okay? Should I keep filming or should I stop? I mean, it's a little distracting, right? Yeah, so what are the takeaways from this video? I'm trying to post consistently about what's going on in my life. I'm gonna be posting no matter what. I don't care what's going on. I don't care if I'm dressed, if I look good, if I'm clean. I don't care if someone's working on my house outside, which this is not my house. This is my room. I don't care. Yeah, I don't care about looking presentable, obviously. I mean, I care a little bit, but this is gonna be one messy ride. If you want to just be a part of my life where it's kind of unedited half the time, shortly, you should consider subscribing to my channel, where I'm trying to promise myself and push myself to post consistently and stop making excuses. If I can do it, then I can do it. I can't speak for you. So, if I'm encouraging, that's cool. Holy macaroni. If I'm not encouraging, that's also fine. I don't have to be encouraging all the time. It doesn't have to be motivational. It can just be whatever you take from it, you take from it, and that's that. If you leave with nothing, hopefully at least I posted consistently. Okay. Alright, that's it. I'm gonna end this video with somebody just banging on my wall outside my house so you can really experience that with me. Okay, thanks for watching. Questions, leave them in the comments and I will respond. Alright, bye for the now.